December 1971, the nearest Catholic pub. December 1971 saw John Lennon and Yoko Ono release their single Happy Christmas, War is Over in the US. Meanwhile, in Northern Ireland, the war was far from over. Political developments in December 1971. Amongst the violence, there were quite a lot of significant political developments that took place in an attempt to gain control and bring peace. On the 6th of December, Northern Ireland Prime Minister Brian Faulkner met with British Home Secretary Reginald Maudling in London. As reported by the press, after an assembly, nationalist politicians, acting as an alternative to Stormont, met in Dungiven Castle in October. Attorney General for Northern Ireland. Sir B. Kelly wrote a letter to Secretary to the Northern Ireland Cabinet, H. Black, on the 13th of December. The letter discussed the course of action to be taken against those who met and the political ramifications. Sir Kelly wrote, "Of course, as I have said to you many times, the most formidable barrier in the way of a prosecution to my mind is it in the public interest to bring such a prosecution? Would a trial of this kind give much-needed publicity to an assembly which already at only its second meeting is declining in attendance and generally in impact? Would such a trial make this government look silly? It must be remembered that a prosecution for either conspiracy or a breach of the 1879 Act would necessarily be an indictable one. One can see the drama and publicity of Fitt, Hume, Curry, Cooper, and indeed all the old Stormont opposition, in the dock with no doubt separate legal representation at a trial which would last for weeks, with all its attendant publicity, and with no certainty or conviction at the end, what with difficulty or proofs, and the vagary of a jury. On the 15th of December, on the BBC radio programme World at One, British Home Secretary Reginald Maudling was questioned by Ian Mitchell about the ongoing political situation in Northern Ireland. When asked about his priorities now, he said, "Obviously, nothing can be right until the violence has been suppressed. On the other hand, we cannot wait for the suppression of violence in order to start talking about the future. That is why I so deeply regret the unwillingness of the SDLP and the nationalists to come and talk to me, because by refusing even to talk, they are going to prolong the agonies of their own people." British Prime Minister Edward Heath visited Northern Ireland on the 23rd of December and expressed his determination to end the violence. On the 31st of December, Northern Ireland Ombudsman Edmund Compton was replaced by John Benn. Shootings in December 1971. December 1971 had 12 fatal shootings, with the IRA reportedly responsible for 10 and the British Army reportedly responsible for 2. A teenage girl, Vivian Gibney, 17, died 4 days after being shot during a gun attack on members of the RUC on the 2nd of December. On the 7th of December, an off-duty member of the Ulster Defence Regiment was shot dead by members of the IRA. Dennis Wilson, 31, was shot at his home, Curler, near Caledon, County Tyrone. Sean Russell, 30, an off-duty member of the UDR, was shot dead by members of the IRA in his home in Ballymurphy, Belfast, on the 8th of December. Russell was the first Catholic member of the UDR to be killed in the conflict. On the 8th of December, British Army soldier Jeremy Snow, 35, died 4 days after being shot by an IRA sniper while on foot patrol in the New Lodge area of Belfast. Kenneth Smith, 28, an Ulster Defence Regiment member, and Daniel McCormick, 29, a former UDR member, were killed by the IRA whilst travelling to work near Strabane, County Tyrone. On Sunday, the 12th of December, Ulster Unionist Party member of the Northern Ireland Senate Jack Barnhill, 65, was shot dead by the official IRA at his home in Strabane. He was the first politician to be killed in the conflict. Martin McShane, 16, was shot dead by British soldiers outside a youth centre in Coal Island, County Tyrone, on the 13th of December. British soldier Anthony Aspinwall, 22, from the Gloucestershire Regiment, was shot dead by an IRA sniper in the Lower Falls area of Belfast whilst on foot patrol on the 16th of December. On the 20th of December, civilian Margaret McCorry, 20, was shot by an IRA sniper during a gun attack on a British Army mobile patrol on the Crumlin Road, Belfast. IRA volunteer Gerald McDade, 23, was shot dead by the British Army after being captured in the Ardoyne area of Belfast on the 21st of December. British soldier Richard Ham, 20, was shot dead while on British Army foot patrol on the Foyle Road, Brandywell, Derry, by the IRA on the 29th of December. Bombings in December 1971. There were 7 bomb-related incidents in December 1971, with 26 deaths and a further 36 people injured. It's reported that the IRA were responsible for 5 of these incidents, whilst the UVF were responsible for 2. On the 4th of December, Loyalist paramilitaries exploded a bomb at the Tramore Bar, better known as McGurk's Bar, in North Queen Street in North Belfast. The bomb had been planted by the UVF. 4 of those killed were women, including the owner's wife and 14-year-old daughter. This attack was the highest death toll from a single incident in Belfast during the Troubles, and was the second highest death toll caused by a UVF attack. Only one of the bombers, the driver of the getaway car, was ever convicted. According to him, Robert Campbell, they were told not to return until the job was done. Campbell said that their target had not been McGurk's but another pub nearby. It is believed this was a pub called the Gem, which was allegedly linked to the official IRA. The £50, 23-kilogram bomb was disguised as a brown parcel, which they placed in a car and drove to their target. Campbell says they stopped near the Gem at about 7:30 p.m, but could not gain access to it because there were security guards outside. After waiting for almost an hour, they drove a short distance to McGurk's. At around 8:45 p.m, one of them placed the bomb in the porch entrance on Great George's Street and rushed back to the car. It exploded just moments after they drove off. Campbell implied that McGurk's had been chosen only because it was the nearest Catholic pub. The blast caused the building to collapse. Bystanders immediately rushed to free the dead and wounded from the rubble, and firefighters, paramedics, police and soldiers were also quickly on the scene. 15 Catholic civilians had been killed, including 2 children, and a further 17 wounded. The rescue effort lasted many hours. Those who died were Philomena McGurk, 46, Maria McGurk, 14, James Cromie, 13, John Colton, 49, Thomas McLaughlin, 55, David Milligan, 53, James Smith, 58, Francis Bradley, 62, Thomas Kane, 48, Kathleen Irvine, 53, Philip Gary, 73, Edward Kane, 29, Edward Keenan, 69, Sarah Keenan, 58, and Robert Spotswood, 38. A woman, Mary Thompson, 61, died on the 6th of December trying to salvage property from the Salvation Army citadel in Belfast when a wall fell on her. Earlier, there had been an IRA bomb which started a large fire in an adjoining building. On the 11th of December, 4 civilians died in a bomb attack on a furniture shop on the Shankill Road in Belfast. 2 of those who were killed in the explosion were children. Those that died were Hugh Bruce, 70, Harold King, 29, Tracy Munn, 2, and Colin Nichol, 1. The babies both died instantly when part of the wall crashed down upon the pram they were sharing. 19 people were injured in the attack. No group claimed credit for the attack, but there was speculation that it may have been planted by the IRA in retaliation for the McGurk's Bar bombing on the 4th of December. 3 members of the IRA, James Sheridan, 20, John Bateson, 19, and Martin Lee, 19, were killed when the bomb they were transporting exploded prematurely in King Street, Magherafelt, County Derry, on the 18th of December. On the 18th of December, without warning, the UVF exploded a bomb at the Catholic-owned Murtaugh's Bar in Belfast, which killed a Catholic civilian barman, James McCallum, 16. On the 21st of December, publican John Lavery, 60, was killed when he picked up and attempted to remove a bomb that had been planted in his pub on the Lisburn Road, Belfast. It was believed that the bomb was planted by the IRA volunteer Jack McCabe, 55, originally from County Cavan, was killed when a bomb he was assembling exploded accidentally in a garage on Swords Road, Santry, Dublin, on the 30th of December. It had been rumoured that McCabe had been active in the IRA since the 1930s. Thanks for listening to this episode of Tales of the Troubles. If you enjoyed this episode or any others, please like or comment to help the algorithm reach other like-minded people. To ensure you never miss an episode, please click the follow button and enable notifications. If you have family or friends who would also like this podcast, please share. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we take a closer look at January 1972. Thank you.